Being sharp to tackle the challenges that come up in your life requires a personal sense of awareness, the element of knowing who you are and what you want out of your life. This is what you are aiming for, your goal. Because if you have no sense of one, who you are, and two, what mission you're on, what goal you're trying to achieve, then anything goes. But when you have a direction you are headed towards, now sharpness matters. You can hone in on your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and take purpose towards this goal. Whether on or off the rebounder, you can set the goal and go after it. Committing myself this year to 3 goals was the starting point for assigning clarity throughout my year. But all 3 goals were extremely large ones. They were big things to conquer. And there's one I've shared continually with you on this channel, and that is to release 100 pounds this calendar year. I said that without having any evidence that it was possible based on my past. I said that without a clear plan of action. I just set the intention that this is what I wanted and this is what I was going to go after. Because setting the goal comes from what I desire to achieve, not from knowing how to do it. Think about it. If you already know how to do something, is there even a need to set a goal? Likely, no. You just do it. It comes out of habit or routine. Often when thinking about it, there's no sharpness required. You can be very dull, to carry out this analogy in the opposite direction. You can be dull and simple, not requiring any kind of sharpness required to rinse and repeat a process you've already done 100 times before. Because friend, sharpness is only required when you're open to change, when you're ready to put yourself intentionally outside your normal routine and allow yourself to do something different, to discover your capacity. That's how much you can handle, and your capability, what you can do, your skills. For years now, I have dreamt of publishing a book. But have I done it? No. Starting a book, yes. Giving up on a book? Yes. Like starting another book and another book and another book. I've written so many different things. I've been to different book conferences. I have taken book writing courses. And this has just been something that I have desired to do for a really long time. It's a deep, deep passion of mine. And I have a lot of different content that I have written. I have things that I have planned, I have outlined, I have developed, and I've taken it so far, but I've never actually published something. So that's when I decided that one of my 3 goals this year would be a really big goal, because I couldn't just set the goal of wanting to write a book and publish it, because that goal I've done before and I just didn't get there. And I had just finished studying the principle of how to 10x your life. That 10x is easier than 2x by Ben Hardy is the name of the book. And he talks about if you just like set a goal and you just double it, like that's not that pushing yourself that hard. You could do, even for a few days, you could do twice as much as you've done today. But could you do 10 times as much as you've done today? If your goal is just to go from doing 10 minutes on the rebounder to doing 20 minutes on the rebounder, like you can almost start to imagine how that's going to happen. But if it's to do 100 minutes compared to 10 minutes, like, oh, wow, that changes things. I'm not saying that should be your goal. I'm just saying 10x it, right? So here he was saying 10x your goal and you'll actually get better results. And I was like, okay, let's put this to the test. So I thought about it. Instead of having a goal to publish 1 book this year, I said, I'm going to set a goal to publish a book every single month. Like in the mindset, I'm going to have published 12 books by the time the end of the year comes. And that to me became my 10x goal. So I set that goal, 12 books published by the end of 2025. So going from 0 to 12, that's a big goal. And I didn't have it all figured out and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And would you agree that if I'm going to achieve that goal, I will have to stop doing things as I've already done them in the past? Agreed? Since I know that approach only yields 0 books getting published. So I need to make sure that I'm going to change something. So then would you also agree that if I committed to doing things differently, I then must also decide what I'm going to do and how I can get started? I must give myself that first action step. And usually, most of the time, even if we don't know how we're going to hit our big goal, we can at least know what micro step, what starting point we can get started on right now. And so for me and for you, that means just putting yourself on the course. If I was playing a game, you've got to go and you got to get on the field. If it's bouncing, you got to take action and get on the rebounder. Yes, like that's your first starting point. So I had to put myself on the course to even get going. And this is where many people fail to achieve anything because they might set a goal. It sounds nice in their head, but then they don't even put themselves on the track to start the race. Friend, I am so full of metaphors today. I had to begin by deciding which book to work on because I have a lot of ideas in my head and I have a lot of things I've written out. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do? So I picked one that I had already started. I said, okay, what do I need to finish this? And how am I going to get this going, etc. And so I set that time frame. And now so far so good. I had one idea in mind. And I also gave myself the time frame of getting that first book done in the first month, January. And so I dove in. Guess how long it took me? Well, the whole month. It took me all of January because that's how long I gave myself. And I definitely applied more effort towards the end of the month to hit that deadline than I did at the start. And I was learning a lot about myself during this process, what I was capable of and my capacity, how I was going to show up, what I was going to do to figure things out, and staying really firm on my commitment to get this done. Because once I got past the idea generation and the writing phase, everything else in the editing and the publishing phase was new to me. I was learning through this process, but I did it. And I published my first book on the very last day of the month. Now, I count that as being published because I released it. It went on to Amazon KDP, but I still had to wait for it to go through its approval process. So I learned that and I calculated that better the next time around. But then I was able just to put it out there. And honestly, I just kind of forgot about it. Like I was already on to book number 2. And so I got to get better even on the promotion side of the books. But for right now, I was focused just on getting books out there, getting them out of my brain, off of my computer, and into the world. But then new challenges arose in the second month. And this is normal, friend, because as you expand into a new version of yourself, whether here on the Rebounder or in anything else that you're tackling in your life, the goal you're going after, you are going to face new obstacles, new challenges, new problems you've got to solve in order to become and evolve into the person who has the goal you're going after. So remember how I shared in other videos how I had success in month 1 from eating on a new diet plan. I've tried a lot of different meal plans throughout the years, and usually in the first month, something would change, something would happen. Maybe not as much as I wanted, but something would happen usually in the first month. But in the second month, I almost always was seeing a plateau happening. And then by month 3, next to nothing was happening. And why was that? Well, it's because the first month was so much change that I wasn't evolving with the plan. I was still doing the same thing I'd done in the first month instead of accounting for changes that I needed to make in my body. Especially if you go and you drop 10, 15 pounds, you've got to adjust your intake with that as well, which is something I'm learning now. So it's always about becoming who you are in the process, continually evolving, keeping yourself sharp to keep evolving into the new goal. You have to develop new skills, possibly. You have to develop new confidence, new strengths, new abilities, new capacity to take on new challenges. You're elevating at each and every level to finally get to that goal level. Now, whether that is publishing a new book, applying a new diet, going after a fitness challenge here on the Rebounder, whatever it is that you're striving to do, creating a fresh level of change in your life, one in which you have to decide how sharp you are to figure things out, that you have the sharpness to be able to pivot when needed. You have the sharpness to know when to push and when to pull back, when to move with flow and when to challenge yourself, and so much more. But how quickly we can plateau or even fizzle out and give up instead of learning how to develop our sharpness is up to us. So I bring this back to you in reflection. How sharp are you? And are you ready to spot the next challenge coming your way to figure it out without giving up? Are you sharp enough to know when to pivot and stay the course or to pull back when things aren't working? Do you have the readiness to be sharp to tackle your goal? And have you been sharp enough to set a goal, to know where you're headed? Like, start there. These are all things to consider if you're ready to create change in your life, both on and off the Rebounder. And if you want to take this even deeper, go into the description of this video, click on the link, and go over and get my free ebook, one of the books I'm counting as being published this year in 2025. And it's all about how you're creating change. It has lots of reflective questions to help you to get there by setting your goal and knowing what you're going to do to go after it. And I'm about to complete my second month of rebounding. This is huge for me. Only a couple more days, and then I am there, and I am aware of how much I have learned and grown and developed and continue to face the challenges. Now it is not only time to be reflective with gratitude, which I do appreciate, but it is time to sharpen myself for my next evolution going into my third month after month, getting better because day after day, I am making those improvements to keep honing myself, keep sharpening myself to hit my goal. What about you? Are you working on yourself day by day, month by month to achieve your goal? Go be sharp, friend, and happy bouncing. I'll talk to you tomorrow.